Hermetic Tarot, the Dowson. So this is Jeffrey Dowson. I used to have this this deck, wow, almost 20 years ago. I gave it to my brother because I didn't like it because it wasn't colored, and I really didn't know much about tarot then. I really didn't. But this deck is pretty amazing. It's currently in print. Hermetic Tarot's esoteric designs emphasize the Golden Dawn's astrological attributes with further Sephirotic. I've never heard of Sephirotic. Angelic, geomantic, numerical, and Kabbalistic elements. Now revered as classic, this deck's black and white artwork features intricate detailing and highlights powerful symbolism. So let's look at it. Most people are very familiar with this deck. There we go. It's published by US Games. Comes with a decent little white book. And here's the back. The back has the rose on it, as well as we got some stars, sun, and moon. So it's not tarot. It's not reversible technically. So let's look at the cards. So this one. Let's see, this one, it says copyright, it's 1979 and 2006, US Games Inc. It's very small right there. Right there. And these cards, US Games, they really do shuffle and flow very nicely. Let's look at the deck. So this is the card 0, Spirit of Ether, Foolish Man. He is, he's got the knapsack, he's got the wolf, dog, the rose. There's the alligator, the rushing water. One thing that probably really didn't do it well with this deck, just really didn't do well for me, was the faces looked, I didn't like the artwork of how the people were depicted. I mean, he looks like his nostrils are flared and but there's much more to it than that. So here's the Magus of Power. So we have Mercury and all the tools of the trade, the winged helmet, Mercury, the staff. The High Priestess, or the Priestess of the Silver Star. Daughter of the Mighty Ones, the Empress. We have the symbol of the Phoenix in front of her. Emperor, Son of the Morning. The ram, Aries, a bee. Let's see, we got eagle, a lotus wand. There's just so much to look at in the symbols. Majesty of the eternal gods is the Hierophant. Here we have an elephant. We have Taurus, we have the Lovers, Children of the Voice Divine, the Serpent, Chariot. We have the crab there, we have the two sphinxes. Lord of the Triumph of Light. Daughter of the Flaming Sword. This is Fortitude, Strength, with a lion, shield. Magus of the voice of light, the hermit. Here we have the egg, the snake, Lord of the forces of life, daughter of the Lord of truth and justice, and the yang. On this one we see Jeffrey Dawson's signature instead of his little print. The Hanged Man. This one very much reminds me of the Thoth. Even has the back of the Thoth deck, the rose cross. We have Neptune, the Ankh. And Death. Crazy Skulls, a scorpion. Temperance. The Devil. So I think this is the card that really didn't do it for me. The impishness of the people, like it almost looks like a caricature here of the two people chained. I mean, this looks very serious. The Bahamut, Torch of Truth, Crown, the Bat. But those two figures, they just looked, I don't know, like a caricature, like they weren't serious. We have Lord of the Hosts of the Mighty. Oh, and Lord of the Gates of Matter is the Devil. Daughter of the Firmament. There's the bird. Sephiroth. Sephirotic. The moon. We have the Anubis figures. The scarab, which is typically associated with the rolling of the sun, which would make sense if the moon was actually, it was an eclipse happening. Ruler of flux and reflux, which is referring to the tides. And we have the two towers with windows that look like keyholes. The sun, two women dancing around in the rays. Lord of the fire of the world. Last judgment. We have horn, people rising, sort of an angelic figure, spirit of the primal fire, the universe. Great one of the night of time. And then we go to wands. Cups. Wands, cups, swords, pentacles. And for this deck, this has not been shuffled. They actually put the court cards first. So we have Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, Flames and Fire because of their wands, the King of Wands, his chariot pulled, and then the Princess of the Shining Flame. We have Knight of Cups. And the Water, Lord of Waves and Waters. Queen of Cups. Queen of the Thrones of Waters. The King. Chariot pulled by a swan. And the Princess. Classic depiction of a dolphin. We have 2 swans, a turtle. Palace of the Floods. And we have swords, Lord of the Winds and Breezes. The chopped off head, Queen of the Thrones of Air. King of Swords. Little babies. Fairies appearing. Princess of Swords, of Rushing Winds. So there's a Medusa head. Wasn't Athena that was mad at Medusa and turned her into a Gorgon because she was, I think men were looking at her too much, like she was so beautiful. Knight of Pentacles, Lord of the wild and fertile land, so we're talking earth. Here you see the corn and the wheat, which was a big thing, corn and wheat. The wheat, you make bread. The corn, you can make lots of things out of it. Queen of the Thrones of the Earth. This artwork reminds, this melting sort of leafiness reminds me of like classic 60s artwork, like pop art. Prince of the Chariot of Earth. Is the Bull. The Princess of the Echoing Hills. And then we get into the actual cards themselves, so wands and cups, swords, pentacles. So I'm fairly certain that these will reflect the Thoth pretty well. They're pretty spot on. 2 hands. They're different. The hands on the cards depicted. Swans. Perfected work. Lord of Strife. Essentially, the bottom is a key word. So whatever it means to you, however you feel, how it evokes emotion in you is how you're going to interpret that card. Even if you're not inducted into the Golden Dawn, I think this is a very usable deck. But you don't have the colors to kind of rely on. Lord of Valor. Swiftness. Nine of Wands. Ten of Wands. Lord of Oppression. Then we go to the 8. Lord of the Root of the Powers of Water. So these are, the Ace of Cards are spirit cards. You have the lotuses there. Lotuses. Dolphins. And the astrological equivalents, so we're into Pisces, 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 and then it jumps from Pisces to Sagittarius, Five of Cups. Six of Cups. Seven of Cups. Eight of Cups. I love, one of my favorite things with the lotus when they were depicted dripping water into a cup. For me, whenever a plant is collecting water, that water is, there's something different about the water. It's very charged with energy. And here, they're just splashing all over the place, the Nine of Cups. And this cup, the material happiness, and then perfected success is 10. Then we jump into air. Peace restored. And then with sorrow. Strife. Let's see, we have swan, hawk, kestrel, eagle. Is it a pheasant head? Looks like a pheasant. Earned success. Unstable effort. Piercing the rose right in the middle. Lord of shortened force. Despair and cruelty. 9. Swords are all mangled. The black sun is in the middle. Lore of ruin. Pentacles, the last one. Lord of the root, the powers of the earth. Lord of harmonious change. Material work. There's a thorny rose there. Earthly power. Even with the power, you see this card really pops at you. Very bold card. Material trouble. There's this disc kind of spinning, vibrating. Six of Pentacles, Lord of material success. We have the roses. It's like a wild rose growing there. Success unfulfilled. Here, this rose has lost its petals. So just the hip is showing with the... Lord of prudence. Lord of material gain. Here, all the flowers are open. Lord of wealth. And look, that's it. So we have two sort of title cards. Here's the one based on the Esoteric Workings of the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn, dedicated to Eric Hill, and then considered to be one of the most important esoteric texts created in the 20th century. These cards came with it. I tucked them in the back. And that is the deck, which I recently bought because I don't have it in my collection, and I'm trying to get anything related to the Golden Dawn, especially for comparison and figuring out which ones are the best. because there are quite a few out there, and I've done the last comparison I did. I should have had this one and thrown it in there. I really did, but I didn't have it on hand. Tuck it back in there. The one thing that strikes this deck, even though it has no colors, is this red box. And this red, bold red box. Anyway, so this deck is highly usable. Even if you don't like the lack of color, there's so much symbolism in there. It's great if you wanted to see how the tarot corresponds with astrology, because the symbols are right there. They're very evident, and they kind of flow. And also the meanings underneath. The words may seem a little fanciful, but really if you read more about the Golden Dawn, the tarot, it's all there. And with this book, I'd highly recommend the highly recommend this book, Magical Tarot, the Golden Dawn. It's quite involved. Even though that this isn't made for this deck, it's got the symbolism there. So the devil, it goes into, so here's popping this open, just so you can see it. This is the devil card, 15, key 15. Lord of the Gates of Matter, child of the forces of time. Capricorn, 26 path, renewing, renovating intelligence. Zebulon tribe. Iron, coagulation, cibation. Pain, Set, Mendes, and Faunus are the mythological attributes. It's a natural sound: indigo, blue, green, yellow, pale, bluish, gray, dark, greenish, brown, which you can't really do anything with the colors on this one. And then it goes into just a bit of the Hebrew letters associated with it. And then the ritual. And then the divination. Blasted Tower. So this book is this is a really good book to pick up. It's published by Aeon Books. And this actually is published in England. So if you try to get it on Amazon, it's going to be some ridiculous price, like $40, but you can probably get it used somewhere. That was the Hermetic Tarot of Golden Dawn. Thanks so much for watching.